but I want to hear your opinions right now on the LEC MVP because
Ooh.
we're a little varied right now. Let's take a look right now at who we have selected across the board as the MVP of the LEC in Spring Split. And there you see it right there. And yeah, Reckless for me and Jacob, Selfmade for Emily, and Perks, the lone non-Fnatic pick for Tyler. Tyler, why did you go rogue on us? Why did you decide that you got to pick somebody from G2?
He didn't go rogue. He went G2. Come on.
Good call. That's a very good call. Yeah. Why did you stray from the pack and go G2, Tyler?
I'm over this disrespect that everyone's giving Perks. Perks deserves respect from you people. What does the man have to do?
When have we never respected Perks?
I'm talking to the people, Emily. I'm talking to the people who vote for MVP. I'm talking about the people who overlook Perks again and again and again, over and over. Yeah, he Uma John, Luca the Bazooka. He's not played more than he is the best player in the LEC, bar none, coming back to the mid lane. Most kills, most assists. He hasn't played a champion more than twice this entire split. He's been experimenting the entire split and styling on every single person he's played against. He is the best player on the best team. He is the in-game leader. Give respect to Umajon. He deserves that MVP. If he does not give that MVP, it's a travesty if Perks is not the MVP this split.
Now,
give it to Perks. Give it to Perks. That's all I have to say. No Reckless, no Selfmade. Get out of here. G2 Perks, he's the king. Give him his crown. He deserves it.
Appreciate the passion. Chat isn't even agreeing with you on which G2 player
they're not agreeing with any
deserves.
Of
Well, yeah, they're not agreeing with any of us. They're saying Yankos should be in consideration. What about Yankos, Emily? Do you think we should have been a lot nicer to Yankos and his aspirations of being MVP?
I mean, if I remember correctly, he's in the lead for like match MVPs. Let me double check that.
Sure.
And he's reigning.
Sure. Yeah,
he's reigning. He won Summer 2019 also.
I think with G2, there's always that weird, like, it's not recency bias. It's like, you get, because they're always, exactly.
Voter fatigue. It's why LeBron hasn't won 10 MVPs.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Get bored voting for him.
Because I actually agree with a lot of Tyler's arguments for Perks, right? Like, I do think still, like, that he is the best, like, just individual player in the LEC.
He also has the intangibles.
But
G2 is G2 because of Perks.
Yeah, I mean, I think, so the reason why, like, again, I am actually the worst person to ask about MVPs because I can never separate like team identity and I always make weird picks and everyone disagrees with me. The reason why I wanted to shout out Selfmade is just because what I mentioned before in terms of what he can bring to this Fnatic team. And if like Fnatic is to take out G2, it's going to be because of this addition specifically. Okay. And that's where I think his value comes as an individual, like not just him as an individual jungler, which I actually think he is very much up there. And people should maybe pay more attention to his pathing and his decisions at times because they're like quietly very smart a lot of the time. And they don't often get like pulled out and noticed, I guess, unless you're sitting there like studying it. But I also think that for me, if this Fnatic team is ever going to topple G2, it's going to be because of that addition. And I just really, really love what he's done for this Fnatic team.
So there are two schools of thought on how to choose an MVP, and the definitions differ across sports leagues.
I've been told that mine is the wrong one.
Well, no. It depends on what the literal definition of MVP is to you. And some leagues define it as the absolute best player, period. Mm-hmm. Who is the best player in the league? Others would define it as who is the most valuable player to their team. And one way to interpret that is if you took that player away from that team, how much worse would that team be?
And that is why I chose Reckless. I think that Reckless has really stepped it up this season. I think you could also make the argument for Selfmade. It's why I wouldn't necessarily choose a player on G2, right? Because I think for G2, they are much more even keel, right? I think that G2 across the board, they're all superstars, like we mentioned earlier, and like it's all a unique contribution, right? But I think the thing is with Reckless is that like he's had such an incredible split. He's won MVPs before, and relative to the expectation that everyone had for him, he has stepped up the split, right? Like he is, I was looking at the numbers the other day. He has such a low death percentage among a lot of the everyone in the league, not just AD carries. He has a high kill participation. He's there when it matters, right? So he's dying a lot less than most people, and he's there when it matters. He's around a lot of team fights, and he's not just cleaning up, right? Like he's positioning well. His entire game is sort of feels like it's taken a step up from even where it was last split. And he's one of the most long-standing players in an LCS that's full of young players and rookies, and I still think that he's got it, man. Like, I think that that's the big thing for him is, like, even among all of the burnout and all the time he's put into this game professionally, like, he's still there. He's still got it. I think relative to Fnatic, his performance, if it was much lower, I think Fnatic would be in a much lower spot than they are now.
War for Ya in the chat says, where did he say? It has to be a combination of both of the definitions that were just presented here.
Perks.
So consider this, though. Reckless right now is the highest KDA in the league, 10.1. Has the most kills in the league with 88. Only 17 deaths in 16 games going back to Jacob's point, right? You take Reckless away from Fnatic, what happens to Fnatic? Are they in the top 3? Are they contending for a playoff spot?
Who you're placing them with?
That's what I was going to say.
If you put upset in Reckless's role, I think Fnatic is just as good.